table here as America.
Where everyone should have a seat to eat.
A meal for comfort.
A dream weaved in happiness. But as we know, it has not always been a dream for everyone.
Civil rights has been plagued since the beginning of time, with only those of the most fearful hearts contributing to the ongoing battle of right versus wrong. One leader, one of the most fearful leaders of the South, as once called by Dr. Martin Luther King himself, Frederick Lee Shuttlesworth. Fred was a man who came from humble beginnings, who let the torch live by the hope of a better quality of life, fuel his passions toward fighting the unjustness he and his people have suffered. Fred was born March 19, 1922. After graduating valedictorian from his high school, Fred worked an assortment of jobs before his calling to the pulpit. Fred studied at the Ministerial Institution of Selma University, earning his Bachelor's of Arts in 1951. Later on, going to receive his Bachelor's of Science from the Alabama State University. Fred was a rare, remarkable being who not only suffered physical and emotional attacks from those who stood opposed to equality, but he was a man who greatly inspired an entire movement for change. So now, today's thinkers, activists, attorneys, and educators can look to the life of Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth as they continue to fight the great fight.
So you ask, how has Shuttlesworth contributed to the fight for equal human rights? Look to your left, please, and look to your right. Do you see what we see? For it is not us here presenting to you, and it is not you here watching us present. For it is us embodying the contributions of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So you can aspire to be the great Dr. Paulette Granberry Russell of inclusive living, learning, and working environments. You can grow to be the Dr. Lee June of racial, ethnic, and multicultural issues. And you can seek to be the Kathy Petroni of financial accounting. For this panel of judges tonight serves as a milestone for the tribulations contributed by the great Reverend Frederick Lee Shuttlesworth. Through effortless fights during the Civil Rights Movement, Shuttlesworth led the battle of desegregation in one of the most segregated states of America, Alabama. In 1956, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People were outlawed in Alabama. Later that year, Christmas Day to be specific, Fred's home was bombed. Where he could have been enjoying a meal with his family or transferring gifts, he had to worry about the Ku Klux Klan telling him he best be getting out of town. He simply smiled, stating to them, I was not raised to run. And for this leader, this was a foundation that built towards the contribution of equal human rights for all. In 1963, Fred led 52 prominent members of his organization, the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights, in an orderly civil rights march, where he was arrested, beaten, water hosed, attacked by dogs for simply not having a permit to rally.
Well, was Shuttlesworth wrong?
In essence, Birmingham actually did have a law in place that stated that you must have a permit to either protest or rally. It was even stated in the city's general code.
Even after Shuttlesworth submitted a permit, he was denied. So 2 days after his release, he sent the Birmingham City Commissioner a telegram of his permit stating against the civil injustices of discrimination and segregation. Powerful.
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 And in the case of Shuttlesworth versus Birmingham, the law was in favor of the Reverend, and ultimately it was reversed. Shuttlesworth was a liberator, as he lifted while climbing, vowing to kill segregation or to simply be killed by it.
Perseverance.
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 In 1988, Shuttlesworth founded another initiative called Project Confrontation, which sought to fight segregation on another level through mass demonstrations and boycotts. So, to think outside of yourself just for 1 second with the same humility and tenacity that Shuttlesworth encompassed obtains the results needed to make America great. Because
it has never been great for everyone.
And another initiative he started, the Shuttlesworth Housing Foundation, which gave families hope because they were given homes, millions of families, a humanitarian Shuttlesworth. So, Dr. King and Shuttlesworth alike, well, let's talk about it.
So you ask, how is Shuttlesworth the perfect example of Dr. King's vision? If I say to you the phrase, fighting for civil rights, who is the first person that pops into your head?
I would have to say Dr. Martin Luther King.
And rightfully so, but no man stands alone. No man can fight a great battle such as the battle for civil rights on his own. And by his side stood the often overlooked Reverend Frederick Lee Shuttlesworth. Because behind every great man is a great team. Behind every great team is a great cause. And behind every great cause is hope. Hope that the efforts put towards change can create better situations for the oppressed. Hope that there will be no need for sanctions. Hope that one day we will be living in a better world. Hope that the quality of life will be high for all people. And that same hope was embodied by Dr. King and Reverend Shuttlesworth. Two great men with two great visions, both with the same end goal of a place where we won't be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Shuttlesworth and Dr. King created and came up with the goal of redeeming the soul of America through nonviolent resistance, establishing the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and organizing direct action protests in the city of Birmingham. Two Christian men with a detailed vision of change.
A torch with flames rising as high as to the sky, inflamed with hope. The torch that Shuttlesworth once carried and now has passed on. January 1st, 2001, Shuttlesworth was awarded the Presidential Citizens Medal, one of the highest honors a citizen in America can ever receive. Shuttlesworth was named the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in August 2004, along with receiving an award for the greatest public service benefiting the disadvantaged, an award given out by the Jefferson Awards annually. In 2007, Shuttlesworth moved back to Birmingham. In 2008, the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport was named in his honor. Shuttlesworth was once quoted stating that he didn't see himself living past the age of 40. On October 5th, 2011, after the fulfilled life of 89 years of fighting, sacrifice, and accomplishments, Shuttlesworth passed away. Upon hearing news of his passing, President Obama stated in part, "He was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, and today we stand on his shoulders, and the shoulders of all those who have ever marched, sat, or lifted their voices in hopes of perfecting our union. America owes Shuttlesworth a debt of gratitude." The hope that caused Shuttlesworth to continue fighting civil injustices is the hope that lives and breathes in all of us now. The hope that causes us to keep striving for greatness because we now know that greatness is obtainable for people of our age, our gender, and our ethnicity. The possibilities are endless due to the sacrifices made by those before us.
We continue to tread paths with the torch given by, say his name, Reverend Frederick Lee Shuttlesworth. Legacy is what has been. Legacy stands to avenge what is. Legacy is our black skin, his red hair, her green eyes, and the whips on their back.
Because
history has proven that any wall built on hatred will surely be torn down.